Hello everyone, it's Andy Glenn here. Welcome you all to another Sharks TV podcast. And this week I'm joined by assistant coach Ross Murray. Ross, welcome to Sharks TV again.
Hello Andy, how are you getting on?
I'm doing great. How are you doing after your first week as assistant coach? First weekend in NIHL as assistant coach?
Fine, yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was. I thought Saturday we competed very well, and it was overall. I think it's positive. There was some couple of mistakes, but the Sunday was great. It was a proper character team win that.
Yeah,
on Sunday.
How did we turn around the penalty kill, which pretty much cost us every goal on Saturday, to being frankly really, really good on Sunday?
Just I'd say more attention to detail. And I don't like saying this, but Saturday, going back to kind of, we were out NIHL'd, from the North One, just the small, silly wee details we had. Paid more attention to them, and then obviously it worked Sunday because we killed a lot of penalties, and shot blocking was right up there. That was one of the big things from Saturday. A lot of the goals were preventable if you just took an extra step in the right direction or there and about. So yeah, Sunday was definitely better. The boys were more switched on, I thought, so that helped and proved that we're not that far off this league.
And it also proves that we should be doing that every week now.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said that in the changing room, it's this is the benchmark now. That's the level we need to be at. We don't go backwards. We don't stay the same. We always keep going forward. So hopefully the boys will buy into that and we'll kick on for there.
How are you enjoying the role as assistant coach?
Yeah, fine. Yeah, I love it. It's something I've wanted to do for a long time. I've been coaching for, I don't even know how many years, but I've been doing the juniors for so long, and then I was player coach for the Sharks the year we had the Grand Slam. So yeah, it's something I've wanted to do for ages, and I think I bring a lot to the table coaching wise, more than what I did as a player. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Was it a case that you just couldn't leave hockey behind?
I wouldn't say that. I thought, I did kind of think that maybe I should just step away for a while and then see what life was like without it. But I've worked hard on my coaching, so maybe times when I should have been focusing on playing and not focusing on coaching, I should have, done that instead. Like especially last year, I maybe should have had the hours coaching. It would have been better spent in the gym or so. But I love coaching. Right now, I've got no desire to play whatsoever. None at all. Like to go back.
So how is the transition from being one of the boys, being one of the lads in the dressing room, being a big character in that dressing room, as we all kind of knew, to now not being one of the lads and being coaching?
It's different because you can't be like rubbing shoulders with your players. You've got to have a level of respect and authority, I think, going forward. So yeah, it's just different, not sitting in the room talking stories and stuff like that. You just kind of got to find a right level to it. It's all right to go in sometimes and have a laugh, but you've got to remember at the end of the day, you've got to tell these boys what to do and demand kind of respect from them. But so far, I think I'm okay with it. And yeah, it's just different. I talk to Spud, Jamie and Struan more than I do now, and maybe hang about with Scooter and Pima a bit more. But yeah, it's different in that style.
I would say, just looking at you and the way that you're carrying yourself and holding yourself, and even the way you dress on a match night, there's a different persona. And we talked before in the podcast about different personas.
Yeah,
and it's like the player, the Ross the Boss, Peanut, that persona, and we talked about that before. And if you haven't watched that episode with Ross, why not? Get back in the archives and have a look. There's over 300 videos you could be watching. But we talked about that. It's now Coach Murray or Coach Ross or Coach Ross Murray, and that persona, you can see it on game night.
Yeah,
it's no the clown. It's no the centre of attention type thing.
The persona is kind of gone. I'm a completely different coach than I am to player. So it was funny. It was Sam, my under-19s manager. She'd mentioned it, that on game nights I was very like, you'd see my emotion probably as a fan. You'd see that maybe me shouting, getting right involved. On the bench, I'm neither up nor down. I've got a couple of non-negotiables with myself as a coach. I feel like you shouldn't have to be centre of attention. You shouldn't have to be seen. if you've got the right players playing for you, you shouldn't have to do anything. So like if I have to be the Lulgin and I'm coaching, that means I've not got the team the way I want it, kind of thing. So I feel like as a coach, you're instead of being a piece of the chessboard now, you're the one controlling everything. So you kind of can just hide in the background and not really be seen. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. What are you enjoying?
I love the systems. Like I love breaking down other teams' systems and looking at our systems and just the attention to detail. Like I could sit here and talk ages about like certain plays and what to do with other teams and just kind of like being like the mastermind behind it all. Do you know what I mean? Like I like that strategy of it. Just watching other teams play and how you got to break them down and what you could do different. If you could we play that player there? Could we do this with that? And I love all that.
And what's the most difficult thing as assistant coach now?
It's probably sometimes when you're on the bench and you see something you don't like and you're telling the players. Like I get this with the 19s a lot. You're trying to tell them and they're not doing it, and you just wish for 30 seconds you could put the kit on during that game and just go and do what you want them to do and
show them more.
Show them instead of try to do it through words and that kind of stuff. But that's the frustrating part, just because it might make sense in your head but it might not make sense in their head. It's try to break it down so everybody can, because everybody learns differently, right? They all learn and skate different, shoot different and see things differently. So you've got to try to be, you've got 20 eyes in your team, you know what I mean, 22 eyes with the goalies. So you've got to try to think how these 22 eyes see in the game. They don't see it my way, but I have to try to teach it in a way where everybody can understand. That's the difficult part.
Especially when there's complex systems as you're talking about.
Oh yeah, like honestly, it's like some of the boys I'll just be like, yeah, we get it, and then they'll not get it, and you might have to show them 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 times for some of them, but then there's other boys who'll just get it like that. And it's kind of finding that right balance of what's acceptable and what's no, and just making sure.
And doing it different ways for different folks.
Different ways, and
I think there's some wise person and said once upon a time that if you're a good teacher, can explain something to the level of a 5-year-old. If you can't explain it to a 5-year-old,
that's
you're using the wrong words type thing.
I think definitely coaching the juniors, that's helped me in that, where because the juniors is such a different skill level. You've got guys who've only been playing for maybe 2-3 years, and then you've got Kyle Carruth, all these guys who are at the top of their game, GB, internationalists and so on. So you've got to try to teach them the same thing, but at the same time you need to make sure that it's not too simple for the high-end guys.
Get it.
And it's not too complicated for the low-end guys, but you want to make sure they're getting value of ice time, they're not wasting it. So it's just try to teach them all different things, and it's fun, right? It's fun.
What feedback have you had?
Good so far, You able
to share any? Or are you too modest?
I'm too modest now. Like I say, it's now that I'm a coach, I've not got that big, are you entertained and all that stuff. It's as long as we keep winning and putting the points up, that's my reward, is seeing the team go further.
Well, I have to say there was a player chatting to me after the GB game, the second GB game that you were in charge of, and he was extremely complimentary about your coaching and doing the right things at the right time. But as you've said, it's not about you, it's about that team winning, isn't it?
It's about, you're still part of the team, even though I'm not necessarily scoring the goals anymore or putting the points up or the fight in or anything. You're still there to do a job, so that's just me contributing my piece to the puzzle. You know what I mean? The boys contribute their pieces, and if everybody contributes, you're on to a recipe for success.
Well, without giving away too much, we've got 2 really tough games this weekend coming up. What are your thoughts on those games from an assistant coach's perspective? To
me, it's just back to that attention to detail thing. Just do the small things right, simple things again, and we proved against Leeds 5-on-5, very competitive. Yeah. Like you say, the penalty kill did let us down that night, but then we sorted it for the Sunday. Yeah. So we're definitely competitive. It's just, like I say, don't get too high, don't get too low. Like we just need to kick on, and we're definitely, I think we shocked a few people with that Leeds game straight off the bat. I think a few people had us written off that it was going to be a blowout.
It looked all the more impressive after Sunday when you saw what Leeds did to Milton Keynes as well.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Leeds are a powerhouse. The thing what Leeds have got is they're like what we were like in North 1. They know how to win. They know how to just keep grinding it out till they get that
They're
victory.
a confident team as well, aren't they? They expect to win.
That's a massive thing for you. See, when you're winning all the time, it becomes natural. See, when you don't win, you start looking around. Who's going to get us out of this? Who's going to do this? Or can I do something different? But I think we're that whole year of experience last year's helped us massively. I think a lot of boys who thought it was just a step up have now realised, right, I need to be focused all the time. I can't turn up to games and just wing it, you know. So I think this year we're more prepared, more determined to kick up the league standings.
Well, when you're talking about being more prepared, we've also got Fergal in doing some of the fitness work with the chaps. How are they finding that?
Yeah, I mean, they've all seem to be doing it so far, and I see a lot of the boys in the gym most of the time now, so it's good just that, even taking care of what you're eating and stuff like that, and it's also good to just have somebody to reference. This isn't working for me, can I do something else? Blah, 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 so on. You know, so it's good that we've got that one step level of more professionalism in our ranks now, you know what I mean? So yeah, it can only be a good thing, the boys looking after their body, right? So
yeah. What's the target for this season?
Well, personally, or
for the team as such, I mean, you're obviously part of it, and I'm interested in your personal targets. But
win everything.
I know. I see. Yeah, everybody says they're going to win everything. There's a realisation here that we're in a right tough league. The chances of us winning the league are probably slim. I'm not saying we can't, but we're not one of the favourites at this point.
I said when we went into the National League, I said to yourself on the podcast, it was through Skype or whatever, it was Zoom, we would win something in 3 years. Now, I'm still a big believer of that. We'll still win something in 3 years. Now we're in year 2. So, personally this year, as long as we keep growing in the right direction, can we get a good run at a cup or a playoffs? Yes, I think this season, ideally, if I was to pick any one of them, it would be one of them two. The league, you've got to be the most consistent over the whole year, so it would be a big ask. We're more than capable of doing something like that, but being honest, I would say like a cup or a playoff is probably what we're aiming for. I'd like to see us cement a playoff spot very quickly, not leave it to the last 6 games or 4 games.
Not any stress.
Stress-free, you know what I mean? I'd like to see us comfortably in the playoffs, and would that be a successful season for me if we just made the playoffs in, say, 6th, 5th place? I'd be happy personally with that kind of result.
And for you personally, your targets this season?
Just like what I said there, playoffs.
Just that's how you see yourself.
That's how I would. Just playoffs and making sure we compete every night and no go backwards any night. A good solid season all round, from off ice staff to on ice players, everything. Just have a good proper go at it, and like I say, just make the playoffs in that kind of 6th spot, higher maybe.
I think fans love your attitude. You know that, and they love that you're still part of the club in a big way. And what fans will always accept defeat if they see the players giving everything. If you get beat by a better team on the night, happy days. That's hockey. Well, enjoy it. But sometimes when the fans feel like we didn't do ourselves justice on the ice, that's when fans give it. That's no us. That's no Sharks hockey. And I think a lot of people are hoping, because that's been your mantra for a while, isn't it?
I mean, that's why we joined this league, to be competitive every night. So it's a shock to the system, and I didn't believe that it was such a big up the North 1 to national, but it is, and it might not seem it sometimes, but it is definitely. You've got to be switched on all the time, and I think as long as we're always competing and trying to get better, we'll not be successful. You know what I mean? We will find success somewhere. And I hope it's in them 3 years, like I say, so I don't need to be like, me talking too loud as usual. But definitely, it's just you've got to compete and want to improve every time. And I think that's kind of the recipe to succeed this league, is to do that. Because look at Leeds. At first they were the Leeds Chiefs or whatever they were. I mean, they didn't make playoffs. And then you turn 5 years, I might be wrong saying that, 3-5 years. Look at them now, they're an absolute powerhouse.
Yeah.
So there's no reason why we can't do that. It's just growth. You just got to keep growing, finding a way to just kick on and just develop and find a way to win.
Well, we've every confidence with you involved in our club that's where we'll go, Ross. I'd just like to say thank you for rushing down from work to join me today on the podcast. As always, the last word's going to go to you to be able to speak directly to the fans. It's Ross Murray, everyone.
I don't know what to say now. Now that I'm a coach, I'd give it some big licks there or something like that. No, all I'd say is make sure you get your tickets for this Sunday's game against Hull. It's got to be a cracker. And just keep coming down, supporting the boys. It means it's massive to them all, especially now I'm on the bench. I can hear you, see you, and it's world class playing in front of us. And come down to the Shark Tank. Don't miss it. Thanks, Ross, and thanks everyone for watching. It's the end of the podcast. This is Andy Glenn saying cheerio.